All right, friends, before we even get started baking, I want to make sure you are set up for success with the proper flour to make these simple and delicious gluten-free recipes. Now again, these are all recipes that are from the Gluten-Free Made Simple recipe book, except for a couple of the bonus ones, but they all use a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour blend. Now what a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour blend is that it technically is supposed to be able to be substituted cup for cup in a traditional wheat flour recipe. Now that's not always the case, and that's the whole purpose behind why I wrote the Gluten-Free Made Simple recipe book. Because oftentimes I was looking for recipes and they called for so many different grains that I was feeling overwhelmed. My grocery budget just wasn't going to handle it, and my pantry was exploding with so many different flours. You had coconut flour, you had millet, sorghum, you had xanthan gum, guar gum, you had psyllium husk, you had all of these grains and binders, and not every recipe called for the same one. So in this entire book, every single recipe calls for a 1-to-1 gluten-free flour blend. Now I have a few different options here that you can choose from. Another brand would be King Arthur, and I know there are multiple others out there. But today I have Krusteaz here, Bob's Red Mill, and Pamela's. These are the gluten-free flour blends that I use most often. Now, there is a slight difference between these flour blends, and the main one is the fact that in the binder, so you're always going to look at the ingredients list, the binder in Pamela's is guar gum, whereas the binder in Bob's Red Mill is xanthan gum. And in Krusteaz, it also uses xanthan gum. Here's what I have found. Pamela's makes the absolute best toasting bread. If you need something that really needs to bind, Pamela's is gonna be your best option. It is also the most expensive option, so I don't use it for everything. Your muffins and your cookies and your cornbread, they are going to do perfect with either your Bob's Red Mill or your Krusteaz. Now, the thing to remember is that all of these recipes and all the recipes we're going to be baking in this course today can be made with any of these, and you will have success. The biggest difference you're going to see is that if you use Pamela's, you might get a little spongier texture that holds together just a bit better. But for just getting started, any of these are going to give you success, and we can get baking with any of them today. In each of the videos, I will let you know which blend I'm cooking with. One of the first recipes we're going to make today is the pumpkin breakfast muffins, and they're also going to call for almond flour. Now, almond flour is very different than the 1-to-1 gluten-free baking mix because it is straight almond flour. This is not going to be something that you can cook all the recipes with by itself. So you'll want to make sure that you have your 1-to-1. If you're going to make pumpkin breakfast muffins, you want to make sure you have your almond flour, and beyond that, you're good to go. Let's get started baking.